Welcome back to We Lead Anyway. I'm Noelle, Senior Leader, Career Coach, and your host. Listen, before we get started, I just wanted to share a little something with all of you. This podcast has reached 21 countries and 82 cities. So, for that, thank you. I love the support. I love the feedback. I appreciate each and every one of you. Now, one city among the 82 that stands out above all others is Independence, Missouri. Yep, you heard me right. Home of my older sister, Noelle, avid supporter, soon to be retiree, devoted Christian woman, and a woman with zero tolerance for my dirty mouth. She told me to clean up my language, y'all. So listen, consider it cleaned. No more cussing. I have historically cursed like a trucker, though I should say, in fairness to truckers everywhere, I know a few of them personally, and honestly, lovely people. Today, I'm going to give you a few words, and I want you to sit with it for a minute. Okay. Toxic workplace, hostile work environment, narcissistic boss, gaslighting, trauma response. Did you feel that in your body? Listen, we have collectively decided that these are the words that we use now. And I'm not mad about it. Awareness is good. Language matters. And naming a thing is the first step to dealing with the thing. I fully support all of that. But what I also notice, this is where my yes and training comes in. What I also notice is that these words are being used to describe everything from genuinely abusive, psychological, damaging work situations, which are real and are serious, all the way down to my manager gave me feedback and I didn't like it. Or we have to be on camera for this meeting. Camera on does not mean that you're oppressed, okay? And when everything is toxic, then nothing is. And when every difficult boss is a narcissist and every uncomfortable conversation is gaslighting, we lose the ability to accurately identify the real thing when it's actually happening to us. And that is a problem because the real thing is serious and the real thing has consequences and deserves to be called exactly what it is. But we dilute it by overuse. So today we are going to get specific. What does a toxic workplace actually look like? What does a hostile work environment actually mean, legally and practically? Because there is a legal definition. And what do you actually do when you're in a toxic work environment? So, first, definitions, because words mean things. And I need us to be working from the same page. A toxic workplace is not just a hard workplace. Hard is not toxic. Neither is demanding or your team having high standards or a boss having high standards. A toxic workplace is one where the culture, the leadership, or the systems consistently cause psychological harm to the people inside of it, where dysfunction is the norm. You have cruelty and manipulation and fear and chaos. They're embedded in how things operate, and there are no longer exceptions. It's just Thursday afternoon. A hostile work environment has a specific legal meaning that is worth knowing. So legally, a hostile work environment exists when harassment based on a protected characteristic like race, gender, religion, sexual orientation, disability, and age is so severe or pervasive that it creates an abusive working environment. That is the legal bar. It's a high one. And it's not the same as a boss who's unpleasant or a boss who doesn't communicate well. Now, can a workplace be toxic without meeting the legal definition of hostile? Absolutely. And can it be damaging without it being illegal? 100%. And that's why it's weird. And that's the space that most people are actually navigating. So it's like the place that isn't quite illegal, but is absolutely not cool. It's the place that's draining you and changing you and costing you things that you can't fully quantify yet, but you're like, something ain't right. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So, what does it actually look like? Well, here are three things that I want you to pay attention to. So, number one, the psychological safety is non existent. In a functional workplace, people can raise concerns. They can make mistakes. They can disagree with leadership or push back. I like to challenge the status quo. I think that's great. Not for the sake of doing it. I want to be able to ask questions without fearing retaliation or humiliation, right? So these things you deserve. They're not a luxury. It's a baseline just required for a human being to do their job well. In a toxic workplace, that safety is gone. People don't speak up in meetings because the last person who did got publicly dismissed or they were like quietly curbed, right? Your mistakes get punished instead of being examined, or feedback only goes one direction, which is usually down. and it's rarely constructive. There is a pervasive sense that you need to be careful. What if I say something wrong? Or what if I have the wrong tone? It can have consequences. And so people perform and they manage up and they say what they need to say to stay safe. And they save the real conversation for a private Slack on the side that they erase because they don't know if HR can actually see those messages or not. I've been there. And if you are spending more time managing the emotional temperature of your workplace and actually doing your job, that is definitely a sign. So that was number one. Number two, the dysfunction is consistent and it comes from the top. Every workplace has a bad day. I've had teams that have had rough quarters. Everyone gets that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the consistent patterns, the repeating patterns of behavior that never get addressed because the people doing them are the people that would have addressed them. Listen, we all see the leader who plays favorites or who talks a crappy way to people. There are executives that take credit for their team's work and points the blame downward when things go wrong. I literally had a leader who showed their whole tiny, hi sis, then said it wouldn't have happened if I were better at my job. And then asked me to publicly apologize for their behavior. Who does that? Who are you? And why did I apologize? Listen, I was under duress, y'all. Okay. And here's the narcissist piece since we're on the topic. A narcissistic leader, a genuinely narcissistic one, not just someone who's difficult or self absorbed, right? But a true narcissistic leader creates a very specific kind of fire and brimstone. Okay. This is an environment where reality is regularly rewritten, because your accomplishments, they belong to them, and your failures, well, they belong to you. And this is where praise is weaponized and withdrawal of approval is a manipulation tactic, which is awful. And then you leave conversations genuinely unsure of what just happened. So that last part, that confusion, that second guessing of your own perception, that is the thing that you need to be paying attention to. And number three, your body is keeping score. This one gets overlooked because it's less professional to say, I guess. But I'm going to say it because it matters and it's true. Your nervous system knows things before your brain does. That's what it's there for. It's working how it's designed. And when you are in a chronically unsafe environment, your body responds to that. So that Sunday dread or the Sunday scaries, as people say, that starts Saturday afternoon. The way you started flinching at certain names in your notification bar, yeah, your sleep isn't restoring you the way it used to. That irritability from work, oh, that comes home with you. And suddenly you're a version of yourself at work that you barely recognize anymore. And listen, I convinced myself I was really, really dumb. I gave this leader this power to make me small, and it was awful. And I forgot who I was and what I've accomplished and how far I've come. And that is crazy. Anyone who knows my story knows that that is crazy. I had a constant headache and my stomach always hurt. Have y'all felt that? Those are symptoms of your workplace environment. Your body is telling you something is wrong. You in danger, girl. And if you have been in it long enough, you may have normalized those symptoms to the point where you've forgotten what it felt like before them. I used to notice when my stomach didn't hurt. That's not normal. That normalization is one of the worst things a toxic workplace does to a person. It makes the abnormal feel very ordinary. Then you adjust and then you accept those terms and conditions. And that sucks. All right, so you're in it. So here are some things that you can do to protect your peace. I say this from personal experience and from a leader lens. The first thing is document everything. I cannot say this loudly enough. Dates, times, what was said, who was present, what happened after. Now, you may never need that information, but toxic work environments are very good at making you doubt your own memory. Documentation is an anchor to reality. Keep it somewhere that is not your work computer. Keep it in a notes app or, a personal email, somewhere that belongs to you. But documentation is key. Secondly, don't try to fix the culture. Don't try to fix the culture. And this one is hard for people who are really good at their jobs and genuinely care. But hear me out. You didn't create this environment. You do not have the organizational power to dismantle it. And the amount of energy you are spending trying to be the reasonable one, the bridge builder, or the person who makes it work, that energy is being extracted from you. And the culture is not changing. So know the difference between contributing to a solution and being consumed by a problem that you're not responsible to solve. And then the last thing, and this is really important, is Find your people and protect those relationships. Even in toxic workplaces, there are usually people who are just trying to do good work and go the heck home. Find them. You don't have to collectively complain, although, listen, sometimes you need to collectively complain. But it really helps you stay grounded, stay sane, and you can maintain perspective on what is real and what is actually the environment distorting your perception. Since I left my most recent environment, I have heard from so many people saying, that was not about you. This is also what I experienced. And it is so very important to have those people around. And really, I guess I could add this, like, know your rights. I think every employee needs to know their rights. And if what you're experiencing crosses into a legally hostile territory, discrimination, harassment, retaliation, document it, report it through the appropriate channels, and consult an employment attorney, not HR. HR works for the company. An employment attorney works for you. So you have to know the difference. And just protect your energy like it's the most valuable professional asset you have, because it absolutely is. Don't overinvest in a place that's not interested in you. Do your job, do it well, and then stop. Close the laptop, put the phone down. Do not let a toxic workplace colonize your personal time too. That is the line. Now, sometimes you got to get the heck out of that place, like I did, because this is the question I usually get. Because leaving, it feels like losing, and staying feels like the Hunger Games. So neither of those things are okay. So what do? Here is when it's time to leave. When you have tried the appropriate things, you've raised the concerns, you've documented, you use your available resources, and nothing has changed, because some things don't change. Some cultures are too embedded, some leadership is too entrenched, and the most powerful thing you can do is just remove yourself from the equation. When the cost to your health is no longer worth the paycheck, and I say this knowing that bills are real and the job market is not always a friendly place, leaving isn't that simple. And I'm not dismissing any of that, but I am asking you to do an honest accounting of what staying is costing you. Is it your sleep, your relationships, your confidence, your physical health? Put that on a scale next to the salary and look at it clearly. I make great money. My sanity, priceless. And when you have become someone you don't recognize, you have the cynicism and the guardedness and the hypervigilance that the environment required of you, and it's followed you outside of it, and you and your friends and your family are noticing something different, that is the cost of staying too long. And it is a real cost, and that takes time to recover from. So when you catch yourself hoping something happens, like a layoff or a reorg, anything that would make the decision for you, that is information. And it is your gut telling you that your head hasn't fully caught up. And that is your gut telling you what your head hasn't fully caught up to yet. You're not a tree. Leave. Leave. What I want you to take away from this: words matter. Toxic matters. Hostile matters. Narcissists, they don't matter. But narcissists matter. Use those words accurately, so when you need them, when the real thing is happening to you or someone you care about, they still have weight. They still mean something, and they still get you taken seriously. And if you're in the real thing right now, if you recognize yourself in any of what I've spoken about today, I want you to hear this clearly. What you're experiencing isn't normal. It's not normal, even if it started to feel that way. You're not too sensitive. You're not overreacting. You're a human being responding to an environment that is not safe, and you deserve better than that. So document it, protect yourself, find your people, and when it is time, and you will know when it is time, freaking leave. Hey, if you want to talk more about how to navigate toxic workplaces, email me at noellesleadsanyway@gmail.com. And if you're interested in coaching, either personally or professionally, visit leadwithnoelle.com. Also, if you like hanging out with me, please hit like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate your support. Until next time, go take up space.